This may be China's most recognizable landmark, a series of fortifications built over centuries to guard against steppe nomads invading from the north. Now northern China is being affected by a more pervasive threat.
At least 409 million people in China have been affected by a severe sandstorm.
感觉呼吸一口空气都要肺结节的感觉。
荒漠化在继续扩张，沙化在加剧，特别是湿地面积在不断的减少，风沙危害以及干旱、洪涝灾害。
China has a bold solution that could help its desert communities by building a Great Green Wall. This is the Gobi Desert, China's largest, and it is, like other deserts across the globe, expanding at a rapid pace. Pastoral nomads have lived off these lands for centuries, but over the past 100 years, there's been a sharp influx of humans and livestock, some scientists say, to an unsustainable level. This, combined with drought and climate change, has led to rapid soil erosion, and that leads to desertification, the spreading of desert conditions to land that was once green.
So when you have the grassland and the high density of sheep and other grazing animals, that will make the desert move, or just in general make the land degrade much faster. So that's kind of probably the major reason for the higher desertification rate.
In 1998, China's desertification zones accounted for 3.62 million square kilometers. That's just over 1/4 of its total landmass. China's forestry department said that desertification zones were increasing by 1.04 million hectares on average per year as it headed toward the millennium. To put this into context, China was losing an area roughly the size of Lebanon to the desert every single year. And that's threatening the homes of more than 400 million people, according to Chinese authorities.
Not only bad for arable land, you're losing land to have productivity on, but also the desertification and expansion of the deserts has led to more and more sandstorms or dust storms in China's northern regions, which are very destructive and can cause health problems, health issues, respiratory conditions, and also economic and environmental damage.
To combat this phenomenon, the Chinese government implemented an ambitious project dubbed the 3 North Shelter Belt Program.
It began in 1978 in an effort to reduce desertification in China's northern regions and to hold back the expansion of the Gobi Desert, but it has now expanded into a much wider initiative that is referred to as the Great Green Wall, and it essentially is all the afforestation, reforestation, and sand control measures that China is implementing in the northern regions across 13 provinces in the northeast, north, and northwest of the country.
With the Great Green Wall, the Chinese government aims to slow desertification by expanding green coverage in the region from 5% to 15% by 2050. This is how it works. The Saihanba National Forest Park is located in China's Hebei province. The area was heavily impacted by logging, livestock overgrazing, and land clearing for agriculture in the early 20th century. But now the site is covered by a lush forest. It's being hailed as one of the country's most successful desert greening programs. Further west, in the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, the Taklamakan Desert is also being transformed. It stretches across 337,600 square kilometers with a foreboding expanse of sand that prompted the nickname Sea of Death. It's the world's second largest shifting sand desert. Here, greening efforts have accelerated in recent years. In 2024, officials said a green belt fully encircled the desert. In total, over 3,000 kilometers worth of trees, bushes, and shrubs have been planted around the edge of the Taklamakan Desert. Wang Lixin, a hydrologist who studied desert afforestation, explains how this works.
So essentially, you're using vegetation to stabilize the soil to minimize the sand movement. So people try to select trees that are drought resistant and grow fast. Some popular trees, some willow trees, and also some kind of drought resistant grasses and shrubs.
To allow vegetation to grow, workers place straw grids on the ground. They're used to stabilize the surrounding sands and help the plant to take hold of the soil. In other parts of Xinjiang, like in Maket County, Vast checkerboard-like shapes can be seen for many kilometers. They're formed by thousands of trees lined up to encircle other types of vegetation.
Sometimes people try to plant big trees to create the kind of windbreak and to enclose certain area for agricultural purpose. They can, basically prevent the sandstorm.
Another measure is to install solar panels. Apart from generating energy, they also work well to protect plantations.
A lot of people actually does is that they try to combine solar and vegetation together, because solar can actually provide a shade condition for vegetation, and because sometimes in the desert environment the solar panel need to be washed, and because if you don't wash them for a long time, the efficiency will significantly decrease. So when you wash, the water can be actually used for plants grow underneath them. So that's actually could create a win-win situation in that type of environment.
About 30 million hectares of trees have been planted under the program. Government data shows that the pace of desertification has slowed from about an average of 10,000 square kilometers annually down to 2,300 square kilometers per year in China. But will it work? Experts worldwide have cast doubt on the long-term viability of these greening efforts. Trees and other vegetation need water to survive, something that is often in short supply in a desert. According to one study, only a tenth of the trees planted in sandy areas over the last 40 years in China have survived.
当前三北工程呢，处在全面推进、攻坚抗难的这个一个关键阶段，仍然面临着生态环境脆弱、立地条件呢比较差、水资源供给呢不足等等困难和挑战。
Areas like China's Ningxia-Hui Autonomous Region practice monoculture. It relies on a single type of tree, which can be more susceptible to pests. An outbreak of a single beetle, the Asian longhorn beetle, greatly impacted early efforts to green the desert in the region. In other drought-prone areas of China, the introduction of a wide field of thirsty plants has further depleted the water supply.
Personally, I don't think that's a good idea, because trees need a lot of water. They just naturally has much higher water demand compared to grasses and other species. When you grow trees, the survival rate maybe look good for the 1 year or 2 years when you are actually managing them, give them a lot of water, give them a lot of attention. But then after that, if nobody take care of them anymore, then we don't know the survival rate anymore. That could be very, very low.
What China has found is that planting trees may not be as successful in combating desertification as planting bushes and shrubs. As mentioned earlier, during the 40-year period of the 3 North Shelter Belt program, only a tenth of trees planted in deserts survived. But shrubs proved to be far more adaptable, with 1/3 surviving in that same period.
So a lot of the desert plants, they not necessarily rely on the groundwater, as woody species like poplar trees and some willow species. They do rely on the water and rely on the groundwater to be able to survive. To me, there are projects like greening desert in general. You bring back some of the species used to be there, but because of human grazing and other activity, they are gone. But they can grow there potentially. So that kind of thing I think could be successful, could be done. So to me, just the desert greening itself, not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to be careful about what you can bring there, and that's really the key issue to me.